What's the role of an industrial hygienist to assess combustible dust?
Yeah, the classical definition of industrial hygiene is analysis, recognition, evaluation, and control. So a lot of times the industrial hygienist will be the first person within a facility that might recognize this. And I think a lot of certified or industrial hygienists don't always understand the properties of what a combustible dust is. A lot of people do. Hopefully that's why we're having this podcast, so they understand. But the industrial hygienist can come in and assist looking for those sources within the facility. We conduct air monitoring. We do exposure monitoring typically, right? But if you notice, you can write your name in dust on a surface and that dust may be combustible. And you could review a safety data sheet and get some, and sometimes you get that information. Sometimes you don't. Wouldn't you agree, Ashok? Sometimes they don't have all that information.
Having information that the information is incorrect.
Right, exactly right. We can help evaluating those characteristics of the dust, the particle size, ignition potential, things like that, control measures. Obviously, the engineer controls are important, but we have to be careful as industrial hygienists if we try to over-engineer something and we don't have the background and the experience that Ashok has. You could create more of a hazard. And I think we'll probably talk a little bit about that later. But we look at things like that we can evaluate the ventilation. We can look for those energy sources. And housekeeping is probably one of the most important things. If the housekeeping program or when you're in a facility and they're using a leaf blower to blow all the dust off the rafters, probably it's not good. Or maybe they're using a vacuum that's a shop vac and it doesn't have that class 1, div 1 or the proper UL listing on it to be in a situation like that could actually be the ignition source too.
So from say industrial hygienist or CIH, it's kind of like you guys are probably one of the first to really assess or identify an environmental condition at a location because of the type of work you guys do in a lot of cases.